Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a seriously fascinating breakdown of how modern social media algorithms actually build viral hits. And spoiler alert, it's no longer about top-down planning. We're going to see how the digital landscape has completely shifted away from plan creation, moving towards something much more organic, accidental, and honestly, super exciting: the rediscovery of value. All right, let's kick things off with a bit of a mystery. How on earth does a casual, everyday selfie of an office worker connect to a Japanese rock and pop track released well over a decade ago? It sounds like the setup to a weird joke, right? But believe it or not, the connection between these two completely separate things basically unlocks the secret to modern internet virality. Section 1. Two unexpected global hits. To really get a grip on the modern internet, we need to look at two totally unexpected phenomena that just exploded globally between 2025 and 2026. On one side, you've got SAO. She's a former idol turned finance worker who literally just posted a good morning selfie on social media. She's wearing a business suit, her cheeks are slightly puffed out, just a super casual everyday post. Then, on the totally opposite side of the spectrum, we have a 2012 track called Yoru no Odoriko by the Japanese band Sakanaction. Out of nowhere, this 14-year-old song essentially woke up and completely took over global streaming charts. And just to put the sheer scale of this into perspective, because it's pretty wild, thanks to the algorithm, SAO's follower count skyrocketed from under 10,000 to nearly 400,000, almost overnight. And it didn't even stop there. Her image triggered this absolute avalanche of AI videos, memes, and even pulled a direct reaction from Elon Musk. All of that from one simple photo. Section 2. Context over creation. Now, what's really fascinating about the shift is how it proves social media isn't just a delivery truck for finished products anymore. The old traditional marketing playbook was all about top-down planning, right? You shoot a TV ad, you press CDs, carefully plan a magazine launch, and push a completed product to the masses. But modern SNS, it's a completely different beast. Today's algorithms autonomously grab scattered cultural fragments, random videos, photos, music clips, user reactions, and stitch them together to build entirely new contexts that the original creators couldn't have even dreamed of. So check out this bizarre virality equation that brought Sakanaction back to the charts. Step 1, an totally unrelated video of an Indonesian boy dancing on a boat during a traditional race goes viral, dubbed aura farming. Step 2, a Korean user takes that specific video and slaps Sakanaction's 14-year-old song right over it. And step 3, absolute algorithmic explosion. It created a massive global hit out of geographic and cultural puzzle pieces that were simply never meant to intersect. Section 3. The power of blank space. This brings us to a really core concept from the analysis: cultural blank spaces. The author argues that SAO went viral specifically because she represented this blank space, almost like a mystery. Think about global K-pop stars for a second. They present this highly polished, meticulously promoted, flawlessly complete image to the world. There's really no room for the audience to fill in the gaps. But a mysterious, everyday Japanese working woman? That is a total blank canvas. It practically invites the internet to just project their own stories, their assumptions, and their creativity right onto her. But here's the kicker, and this is absolutely crucial. A blank space only works if there is a massive underlying foundation supporting it. This brilliantly shows how decades of Japanese cultural exports, anime, manga, video games, the whole kawaii or cute culture, provided a global infrastructure. The world already had this subconscious narrative for the Japanese office worker baked in because of this media. That cultural groundwork is literally what gave SAO's photo its explosive narrative context. Actually, scratch that. It wouldn't just have been different. It probably wouldn't have worked at all if the photo came from anywhere else. Section 4. Objectification versus agency. Looking at this through a sociological lens gives us a really fascinating framework for how these images spread. Let's look at these two definitions. Objectification happens when someone's image is freely consumed, altered, and passed around by others without their direct intent. Agency, on the other hand, is taking proactive control of your own narrative. Now, that blank space we just talked about, it inevitably led to objectification for SAO, strangers making all those uncontrollable AI videos and unauthorized memes. But, and this is the cool part, at the exact same time, SAO reclaimed her agency. She proactively stepped into the spotlight and turned that massive, unsolicited attention into actual professional overseas event appearances. As the analysis points out, and I gotta say, this is a brilliantly nuanced way to look at digital culture, being freely consumed by others and taking proactive control of your narrative, well, they aren't mutually exclusive. Agency and objectification are really two sides of the exact same coin. They happen concurrently in the modern SNS era. You can totally get objectified by the algorithm, but still use your agency to harness that crazy momentum and steer your own ship. Section 5. Rediscovering True Value. Which brings us to probably the most vital question of the whole explainer. Why do some of these accidental hits actually stick around and become long-lasting culture, while others just fade away as quick internet jokes? Well, here's why Sakanaction's hit lasted. The meme itself, that Indonesian boat video with the Korean edit, was just the entrance. It was basically the front door. But when listeners walked through that door and migrated over to Spotify and Apple Music, they realized the underlying 2012 song was actually a genuine masterpiece. It had real, authentic value. Plus, the vocalist, Ichiro Yamaguchi, didn't just ignore the trend. He actively jumped in, reclaiming his agency to lovingly guide the narrative and welcome all those new fans right into their existing ecosystem. Just look at this timeline, because it completely shatters how we usually think about media. 2012, the song drops. 2025, it gets unexpectedly grabbed and contextualized by an algorithm. And then 2026, it becomes a modern chart topper. It proves that time on the internet is completely nonlinear. Past works aren't these decaying assets that slowly fade into irrelevance. No, they're highly combustible cultural fuel, just sitting there, waiting for an algorithm to strike a match based on present-day reactions. For me, the most profound takeaway from this whole breakdown is this incredible realization about the true mechanical nature of social media platforms today. As the author beautifully states, SNS is not a device that creates value, it's a device that rediscovers it. The algorithm didn't magically make the song good out of nowhere, and it didn't make SAO compelling. It just found the exact context the world needed to notice the value that was already sitting right there. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought about your own work, your hobbies, or whatever cultural assets you might be sitting on in this algorithm-driven digital era. The internet is constantly, tirelessly searching for its next missing puzzle piece. So I have to ask, what hidden value do you have waiting to be rediscovered?